Did you know it's actually illegal to have a device which warns you of speed cameras? Hi guys, today we're talking about essentials you need for your camper van. Must-haves. I'm not talking about Ridge Monkeys or coffee machines or nice flash VW mugs, anything like that. These are must-haves you need for your van. So let's take a look. You've spent a lot of money on your camper van conversion. You certainly don't want it going up in smoke. So you need a fire extinguisher. So in your van, you will have various different sources of fire. That might be the combustible materials of the materials, the fabrics, but you've also obviously got petrol or diesel, you've got gas in there, you've got your electrical systems, you might have lithium batteries with your phones, or you might have a lithium battery for your leisure battery. Well, this fire extinguisher, the Fire XO, is a 7-in-1 unit. So it's capable of putting fires out for the 7 different sources. Now, you can get 5-in-1s, which is the popular one. It's a little canister. It's a lot smaller than this, and it's a spray device. And that's about 20, 22 pounds. But this is a 7-in-1. And at the moment, it's actually on offer, unfortunately, since I bought it. And I think it's 24 quid. So well worth getting. So it actually comes in a retaining bracket, so you can just flip that off if it's attached to a kitchen cupboard or something like that. I am going to be attaching mine to the rear units once I've got it, so that's why the bracket isn't fixed. But this bracket's on there, it's got a quick release clamp, pop that off and off you go. At the moment, I'll just leave it down here in the footwell. So the wording on this one is all fires fast, and as you can see, it's 500 millilitres, and it is enough to be putting out small fires. So do check it out. If you've not got one, you absolutely must get one. On the topic of fire, what else do you need? This one really needs no explanation whatsoever, and you should already have one in there. Smoke alarm. Do not forget to get a smoke alarm. If you're in the van and you're sleeping at night and a fire starts, smoke starts to come out, you might not smell it, you might not know, you're fast asleep. You're in your house, you've got a smoke alarm in your house, you're sleeping in your van, get a smoke alarm. Really cheap. A link is below. I think they, at the moment, I checked today, I think it's $7.99 for one, $13.99 for two from Fire Angel. Do get a reputable brand. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that the brand, the product which you're getting is checked. Fire Angel, reputable brand. Check it out. If you've not got one, get one, but I suspect most of you have already got one anyway. Next, still on the theme of fire, the silent killer. Carbon monoxide. You need a carbon monoxide detector. You might not think you need one, but actually there are reasons which you might not have thought of where it actually means that you do. This particular product is, again, it's a Fire Angel product, reputable brand, and it's also got a thermometer on there as well, so it's quite handy to actually see what the temperature is in your van. Now, if you've got anything which is going to be able to provide any carbon monoxide, you've actually got your engine itself. From the exhaust can provide carbon monoxide, any fires, barbecues, heating systems, obviously your cooking, your gas and etc. All these things could provide carbon monoxide, so you should have one. But what if you don't have any of those things and you think, well, I don't do any cooking or anything like that, so I don't need one? Well, your van's got ventilation, so if you are sleeping in it at night and somebody next door to you has got a generator, or they've got a fire going or a barbecue going, you may not be aware that the carbon monoxide build up in your van. So even if you don't use the sources yourselves, you may well encounter them from somebody else. So for the cost of what they cost, again, they're not very much. I shall pop up here how much this one is at today's prices. I think it is actually on offer, and just get yourself one. For less than 30 quid, it could potentially help save one of your loved ones' lives. Next up, you should have a toolkit, and that's why some manufacturers these days are actually including a little tool pouch within the vehicles. Well, you might be thinking, well, I'm not going to be doing any maintenance on the vehicle myself if I'm out and about. I'm just going to give the breakdown service to the call if something goes wrong. But I always carry spares anyway, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because I did actually need the tools. But I carry basic tools around with me in the van. I've got obviously screwdrivers, which you're probably going to have in your camper van anyway. Socket set, there's a few of these, and an adjustable Is it an adjustable wrench? Don't really know what it's called, but this is what I needed recently. And with it being a transporter, this toolkit is perfect. This kit is coming really, really handy. As you can see, it's got some of the the black sound deadening stuff on there, but this has got all the little bits in it which you need. Obviously the torque, T25s, T5s, T20s, etc. From doing the panels and the screws of the Volkswagen, you need the special set. And this is a little one which I bought from Amazon, and I've used it over and over again. Really, really good set. As well as those kind of tools though, you do need to make sure that your spare wheel tools are in the van, because sometimes these can go missing over the years. So you just check that you've got your jack there and you've got everything else which you need to make that jack go up, so should anything happen to one of your wheels whilst you're out and about, then at least you know that you've got the tools there and you are prepared. As I've said recently, I needed the tools. I was travelling down a country lane and a pheasant decided that it was going to run out in front of me and took off my front splitter. So I needed to, because it was dangling down, I actually needed to take off that splitter. And if I didn't have any tools, then the only way I'd have had to do it really would be snap it. But like I said, I had this, managed to undo the bolt on it and take off that the splitter, put it in the back of the van, and then I can get that repaired. Alternatively, another good thing to be carrying around in your toolkit is duct tape. Duct tape can be very good at doing some very temporary repairs, because obviously you can't drive around in a damaged vehicle, but if somebody's knocked your wing mirror off or something like that, really strong tape can kind of help secure that in place. And also zip ties are really useful to be keeping in your toolkit as well. You never know what's going to happen when you're out and about in your van, so it's always good to be prepared. And let's face it, they don't really take up an awful lot of room. You've got plenty of space in your van. Build yourself a little toolkit and stick it in there. So you get a toolkit so you can fix your van when you're out and about, but what about yourself? What if you become injured? You need a first aid kit. First aid kit, like I say, you're probably carrying around these types of things anyway. I like the Life Systems. If you have a look at this one, this is actually an old product. I've also got the Adventurer, and I've also got the dental kit as well, and the wash bags. I had those absolutely years, really good products. Now your first aid kit, it doesn't have to be anything which is Duke of Edinburgh Award certified or anything like that, as long as you've got some bandages, some plasters, the various essentials, which you are going to need if you suffer a minor injury, antiseptic wipes. Something else to consider putting in that kit as well would be some mosquito spray, some bug spray repellent to keep those away. An antihistamine cream is always good if you get any bites or itches, to prevent those from itching, and also some antiseptic cream as well. It's always good just to have it in your van and just keep it in there, because like I say, you never know when it's going to happen. This is small enough. Keep this in the glove box, so when the inevitable happens with kids cutting and grazing themselves, then I'm always prepared. Something's always there to help them out. Next up is a torch, and I'm sure most people got mobile phones these days which has the torch on there, so you do have a reasonable torch, but the distance doesn't actually project very far on these torches. It kind of only does the immediate area, so it's always good to get a proper torch. I've got the Nebo, which I've not actually got in the van at the moment because I've left it down in the caravan, but it's really good. It's got 2 light settings for the white LEDs, and then it's also got a flashing red for an emergency. Really handy because you can clip it on. It's got a clip on the back, so you can clip it onto things, and it's also magnetic as well, so if you've got any metal, it attached to the panels of your van. And it's just really good to have. If you're on the phone and you're in an emergency and you need to be looking underneath the van or something like that, or in the engine bay, having a torch with you is really useful. A few years ago, 20 years or so ago, I did suffer an incident on a narrow country lane, trees overhanging, absolutely pitch black. There was practically no moon, in the middle of nowhere, couldn't see anything that was going on. Needed to look under the bonnet to see what was going on, and I didn't have anything with me. Fortunately, it wasn't too long before another car came behind. They didn't have a torch either, but they turned the car around and parked with the headlights and the bonnet, and it was just a loose connection. I managed to sort that out. If I'd have had a torch, it'd have been much easier. So make sure you've got yourself a torch and just keep it in your van. Not that I've done that, but it's the van. So something else which you will probably more than likely have, and that's a map. Well, you're not going to have a map. Nobody has a map anymore. Sat nav. So yeah, so I've already got sat nav. So what you're talking about, Steve? Well, if you're off the beaten track, you're out and about in the middle of nowhere, and you've got your sat nav on your mobile phone, whether it be iPhone or you've got Android, and you're using it on your phone, or you've actually got it through your Apple CarPlay or your Android Auto on your sat nav. If you're using Google Maps or Apple Maps and you go out of signal, you're going to lose it. You're not going to know where you are. It's not going to be able to download the map where you are. So what you need to make sure that you do is download all the maps of where you're going. So if you do get stuck somewhere, you're not dependent on having a decent mobile connection, because it does happen. It's happened to me. I was going up to North Devon in the middle of nowhere, didn't really know where I was, and the Google Maps went off. I actually missed a turn-in, and because of the road which I was on, I'd kept on going, and I ended up travelling 20 minutes longer than I needed to do. If I'd have downloaded the maps, I'd have been all right. So make sure you download the maps, especially of the area which you're going to. Some of the maps which you get, the TomToms, Co-Pilots, etc., you have to download the maps on those anyway, so they actually work really well. But if you're using your Googles, your Apples, or Waze, which is obviously a popular one, make sure you download the route or the map where you're going to. Otherwise, you could potentially get lost. Just something to think about. Next, this only applies if you go into France or some other regions on the continent, but you must carry certain documentation and also items in your vehicle, as well as displaying UK signs and things like that. You need to do this, otherwise you can get some quite big fines. This regulation does change relatively frequently, but there's certain things which you need to be carrying in your vehicle. So that would be spare bulbs. So if one of your major bulbs goes, you need to have the facility to be able to change that bulb. You need breathalyzers, high-vis jacket, a breakdown triangle. You need your first aid kit, which I hope you've already got anyway. As far as your documentation, you need to be taking your driving license, so you need to be able to prove that you can actually drive the vehicle which you're driving. You need your insurance document to show that you've actually got the European cover. Now at the moment you don't need a green card, so that's not something which you need anymore. Your passport, and at the moment, again, this does change, but you need a minimum of 6 months remaining to the expiry date on your passport. You need your MOT certificate. You need the confirmation of the ownership, so that would be the V5, or if you're actually hiring the vehicle, you need to take the VE 103 document. It's also a good idea to read up on the requirements and the laws before you actually go to one of these places. Did you know it's actually illegal to have a device which warns you of speed cameras? Well, in France and other parts, it's illegal and you can actually get fined. So if you've got your Google Maps, your Apple, your Waze, which obviously do tell you that you're entering a zone where there is a speed camera, make sure you turn it off, because you could get fined. Although I'm not exactly sure how they'd be able to fine you, because how would they know? There you go. There are the items I believe that you must be carrying in your camper van. Anything I've missed? If you haven't seen my affordable interior mods video, have a look at that here, or the exterior mods to make your vehicle look really cool. You can see that here. For now, thanks for watching. Take care. I shall see you soon.